lovers, the moon is a thing of beauty. But to this man it is a deadly curse. When the moon is full, this miserable wretch turns into a hairy, snarling half-man, half-beast that prowls the night, his fangs thirsty for human blood. He is a werewolf.
Hello and welcome to the Werewolf by Night podcast, the show where we talk about Marvel's number one lycanthrope, Jack Russell, a.k.a. the Werewolf, a.k.a. the Beast, a.k.a. the Shaggy One. I'm your co-host, Matt Howell.
I'm your other co-host, Jacob Balcom.
And we have a guest with us today. We are welcoming back Mr. Brad Elmore. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's always a pleasure.
It's great to have you back.
We are going to talk about Werewolf by Night 11. Came out in November of 1973. And yeah, right off the bat, it's Marv Wolfman writer, Gil Kane and Tom Sutton artist, Stan Goldberg colorist, and Roy Thomas editing. So we have a all-new writer that's going to stick around for a little while. And this is the start of 2 issues that Gil Kane steps in and does before the master Mike Ploog comes back.
Thank you. I'm a huge fan of this cover. This is one of the iconic covers to me. Like as a kid, if I were reading this has it all. It's like multiple transformations going on.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to start with this thing. Plus, it has 2 title things on it. So I mean, it's double the pleasure right here. Full Moon, Fear Moon, and Man into Wolf just in time to meet the Hangman. There's this giant high school photo with the half opacity giant werewolf head, and then below that he's tearing his shirt off, howling in pain, and then below that there's a 3-phase transformation. So this is all the stuff I love in it, and I believe this was drawn by Kane and inked by Romita.
Yeah, it's inked by Romita, and you can definitely tell. I mean, we'll talk about the art obviously in the issue, but I kind of wish Romita inked this whole issue. I think that would have been a little more preferred for me.
Is it? You guys probably know this. When it says art by and there's 2 people listed, is it assumed that the first one's the penciler and the second one's the inker, or is that not? Or layouts or
I think if I had to throw a guess, I think Gil Kane's doing layouts. And
yeah, I would have to agree. I mean, Gil Kane's definitely doing layouts. A lot of the faces, a lot of the female faces, especially Lissa, looks a little more like Tom Sutton, but yeah. the art is all over the place, which I know we'll address as we go on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about Gil Kane. I want to hear a little bit of a dive into his history, but I also want to know at this time specifically, what was he working on outside of this?
Well, I mean, at this point, he had basically switched over to Marvel, not full time, but almost full time. Yeah, so he had done fairly recently, most famously, he'd done the Death of Gwen Stacy arc. But really, as I went back and kind of looked at his thing, there was an interview that quoted him from Alter Ego. He's quoted as saying he drew 878 covers in 10 years.
What?
Which I had to double check. And okay, so in Alter Ego interview, it's really awesome. But he basically just goes through his entire career and just shit talks pretty much everyone. Ooh. Especially his inkers. He's really, really hard on Tom Palmer and Frank Giacoia. He just mercilessly is just trashing them for most of it. He somehow likes Dan Adkins, which I know a lot of people have problems with. But yeah, he's so I guess we can start out with Gil Kane's history just being like, yeah, he seems like kind of a cranky guy. But I was reading the interview and I kept hearing his voice like Hannibal from the A-Team, like kind of just like chomping on a cigar and just shit talking everyone. It was really entertaining. Like it was quite funny.
You ever notice that all comics guys, when they interview them, seem like cranky old dudes? It almost makes you wonder if it's comics that makes them cranky and that churn and working for those publishers,
I think that is probably going to be the case. But then you get someone like Archie Goodwin, who just, seems like the greatest guy ever, and no one on Earth has anything bad to say about him. And there's a few exceptions, but Brad, you might be right on that. Comics will break your heart, as a man once said.
My understanding of Gil Kane seems to be that he was a dapper, well-spoken, very intellectually curious man who was like trapped in this medium that he loved and was always pushing, and certainly is responsible for some hurdles being, leapt, who is ultimately at the end of the day still frustrated by the medium and the pace of the medium itself, Yeah,
well, he was a real innovator in a lot of things. In the late 60s, he tried basically doing 2 graphic novels on his own, publishing them. And, they weren't met with a success and kind of renown that he wanted them to be, which did kind of obviously piss him off a little bit.
Can you tell me a little bit about those? I'm not familiar with those, actually.
I wasn't either. I wasn't able to find a ton out about them. They've been reissued at different points, but I didn't include them in my notes. There wasn't as much about them, but it sounded kind of interesting.
But I mean, are these something like proto Eisner graphic novels, or these weren't like superhero things? Or
no, they're
fantasy?
Not superhero.
One
like
is a
fantasy
detective
adventure. One's one of them, I believe.
Yeah, one's fantasy, and the other is like a kind of a hard-boiled detective.
Okay.
Thing, I think, and they sounded cool.
Huh.
But he's had a long career. Like, he started in 1941. I think his first credit on GCD is for a Scarlet Avenger story that was done for MLJ. I think it was Zip Comics, and that's in May of 41. But then from there, I mean, I think he started at one of the shops, just erasing pencils and stuff when he was 15. He was one of those guys that just went in and just did whatever they would let him do. And he slowly started kind of, doing more work. After MLJ, he went to DC for a long time, just kind of bounced around, did a bunch of stuff. He didn't really gain any kind of acclaim until 59, when he relaunched Green Lantern in Showcase 22. And I know you guys are with me on this. It's definitely a seismic shift that he contributed to in comics. It's really, really amazing. You can't say enough about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Green Lantern run is special.
Yeah,
it is. It's just, it's so great. And so he kind of had a momentum then. He went on and redesigned the Atom in 61, did a bunch of cool stuff, a bunch of cool runs. He actually ended up working on Teen Titans in 68, which I thought was interesting. After that, he just kind of slowly moved over to Marvel. I think his first big Marvel thing was probably the super corny anti-drug arc that he did with Stan Lee. I think that's in 71.
Where Harry Osborn is hooked.
Hooked on nondescript drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the best nondescript dealers too. It's really pretty embarrassing, but the art is incredible. It makes it.
Yeah, it's the Spider-Man version of that Saved by the Bell episode where she's all fucked up on speed or whatnot.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
At the end, it's so excited. She's
so scared.
Yeah, she has that breakdown. And I think didn't Carlton in Fresh Prince have the same episode where he's taking study pills and then just dances until he collapses because he can't handle it anymore and he's got to get off the dope, It's one of those.
If he did, that's a pretty big ripoff of the Family Ties where Alex was popping pills to study.
I mean, we could do this one all night.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I guess for Gil Kane, after the drug arc, he did the Death of Gwen Stacy with Jerry Conway earlier this year that we're talking about, 73, which again, gained him a lot of fame and a lot of renown. In the 70s, he did a lot of cool shit. He co-created Iron Fist, Morbius, and Man-Wolf. So yeah, he's also working with Jerry Kane at this time on the Man-Wolf story in Amazing Spider-Man. So he's doing a lot of shit that is really important at this time, and I think more specifically important to the three of us, stuff that's really cool.
Yeah.
His Iron Fist run is so badass. Brad, you should talk a little bit about Morbius.
I mean, it's a disco vampire. It's superhero disco vampires. It's so awesome. I think his designs are the design on the Green Lantern, it cannot be overstated enough how incredible that is. That thing is clean, man. Mm-hmm. What a beautiful, beautiful looking, like, pops right off the stands, sort of reinvention of that character's wardrobe from, is it Alan Scott was the first GL, who has like one of the craziest Golden Age costumes you can possibly, it's like everything's going on in that costume.
Thrift store costume.
I mean, I like, it's fun, but it's insane. Like, and then suddenly you get this like sleek, like tight to the body, like not overly muscular design with just like, I don't know, I didn't go to art school or anything, but it looks cool as fuck,
Yeah, the lions, man, and the black. I don't know why, but the black always drew me to it. That's on the uniform.
Yeah, I love going to the Gwen Stacy stuff. Those panels are so iconic. Like his artwork, by that point, his draftsmanship and everything, it's just like, you watch, Spider-Man retrospectives or anything, like they're going to have those panels. They're going to have some of them,
Yeah, I think Gil Kane's style in the 70s defines Marvel, just like Ramita did for the mid to late 60s. Like the early 70s belongs to Kane at Marvel for sure.
Yeah, he's doing so many covers. He's crushing it on the covers. I mean, Gil Kane's a friggin' legend. He rules.
878 covers in 10 years, though. Like that's I didn't fact check this on GCD, but he seemed very it seemed very important for him to say the number, so I'm sure he kept very
meticulous records.
Yeah.
He has this really great quote that I'm going to probably butcher, where he said, comics created a series of aesthetic problems that I spent my career trying to solve. Mm-hmm. And I love that like he cared, like he really wanted to do good work. And unfortunately, this issue does not show off the best of Gil Kane or Sutton, who Sutton crushed it last in issue 10. Crushed it.
I know.
Fucking crushed it.
I know. And the last two he's done are so good. So yeah, Kane's partner on this issue is Tom Sutton, and wow. So we've gotten Tom Sutton. We've gotten to know his style pretty well the last two issues, and like we were talking about earlier, it seems that Kane probably did the layouts and pencils, and Sutton did the inking and finishing. This is just a kind of a guess, but I'm intuitively that's kind of what it seems like, and it's a weird combo.
Faces. There are no Gil Kane faces in there. There's no Gil Kane, like, it's weird. It's almost like there's just suggested layouts, and Sutton came in. And also feel like, you guys can hit me to this, but this comic switched over from bi-monthly to monthly, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That was a while back, though. Yeah.
But these things are put into the can, right?
Yeah.
And I think there was, because you can tell they're like, okay, we're going to need Len Wein to write some. Mm-hmm. Like, there was a bunch of people, like, kind of, it just feels like there's this comic book falls behind a bit, and there's like a rush to get it to the end of its thing. Like, if I had to guess, Gil Kane was not supposed to do anything for this issue but draw the fucking cover.
That would not surprise me either.
No, I think that's a fair guess.
I'd love to know the true story about like what these filler issues are between Conway and Plug and Wolfman and Perlman. Like, what was the story? Was it just going to be a rotating thing or a tryout book for new guys to see if they have the chops, or were they actually trying to find somebody that was a good fit?
Well, it's so funny. It's like, when we found out that, Werner Roth was actually being kind of groomed to take it over, and we keep seeing these fill-in issues and being like, so was Plug too busy? Is he really slow? But, I went back and read a couple interviews with Conway where he talks about Plug, and he says that Plug was pretty fast and was on time. So I don't think that these fill-in issues should reflect poorly on Plug, or be like, it was fucking Plug taking a long time, because that didn't seem to be his deal. He seemed to be pretty on the ball. So yeah, It's a mystery. This is another reason why we need to get Jerry Conway on here and fucking ask him all this shit.
Sutton drew my favorite version of the character thus far last issue. Like, look wise, there's a few of the pose and the eyes and the way he realized that character, I think, looked great.
Yeah. Savage.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Agreed. No,
Wow.
I mean, I think he looked scary. He was actually frightening looking the last two issues. And Plug is amazing, but yeah, he's
I'm in the bag
wrong.
for Plug, but I think Sutton smoked him on that issue. There's like a good transformation here we'll get to. But anywho, sorry, I keep stepping on your.
No.
So that's
you're not stepping on anything.
That kind of talks about at least our artist for the issue. So a little about Marv Wolfman. He started out at DC in '68. He kind of wrote for a bunch of the horror books like House of Mystery, Unexpected, Weird War Tales. And in the beginning, he was partnered a lot with his childhood best friend, Len Wein, who we knew for a few issues back there. He was partnered with him for a lot of the cool horror shit that I really like. And then, he did that small run on Teen Titans with Gil Kane, and then moved over to Marvel, where he basically is I think best known for writing almost the entire series of Tomb of Dracula, where, he creates Blade, he does a lot of that stuff. So as he's doing that, he's made editor, I think in a little while here, maybe by 74, of the entire black and white magazine line. And so Len Wein kind of takes over main editing at Marvel, and then his best buddy Wolfman, does the horror mag line. And from reading interviews with them and people talk about them, they seemed pretty inseparable. Like they seemed like people thought of them as one being, which I think was good for some things, but not so.
Did you ever see both of them in the same place at the same time?
Exactly. No, because
wasn't it Len Wolf or Len?
It was Len Marv.
Len Marv, yeah.
Yeah, because that's from the History of Marvel book that Sean Howe did. Talks a lot about how people just call him Len Marv.
I got to get that book, man.
It is the greatest thing.
It's the best.
Let's get the audiobook and just sail the seas of just it's amazing. But am I wrong? Did Wolfman then take over editorial fully from Len Wein when Len Wein leaves? Or am I crazy?
I don't think so, but he may have. It's that once Roy left for a while, then Len and Marv stepped in. Roy came back for a little bit. Then actually Jerry tried to be main editor, and he only lasted a couple months. He hated it. It seems like it's the worst job of all time, especially in the 70s, like just trying to wrangle guys like Starlin. And, it's like, how the fuck do you do that?
There's just too many titles, but it's not till Shooter steps in that somebody like takes the helm for quite a long time again, I believe.
Yeah. And that's also when Shooter came, that kind of, a lot of these guys left. Like at that point, Marv Wolfman went over to DC, and then he went on to write the New Teen Titans and Crisis on Infinite Earths with George Perez, which I feel are the works he's probably most famous for in comics.
Oh, definitely.
And he's done a lot of stuff. He never really stopped working. He's still writing. He wrote a Superman book that came out last year. That's called Man and Superman. That's supposed to be pretty good. Like, I guess it's just. It's another retelling of the origin, but I guess it's actually good. So I need to check it out. It looked pretty cool.
That's the one with the pearls in the alleyway and the rich
exactly.
prince.
Yeah, it's exactly that one.
We never get those enough.
I know.
Well, he's a legend. I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah, no, he's great. So yeah, like we talked about, Gil Kane and Tom Sutton are artists. I think we don't have a lettering credit, so I'm just assuming Tom Sutton's doing the letters because he kind of is one of those guys that just did that for a lot of the stuff that he drew.
There's a lot of misspellings, so like from last issue.
This is a rushed issue.
It
also,
does.
It is the most, I'm going to say it here, it is the most bananas issue of Werewolf by Night ever.
I wouldn't say ever, but it's our first.
I have reasons. It is fucking insane.
No, there's so much wrong with this issue that makes it really hilarious. But
the tonal shifts. I mean, there's one element in particular that if this was a 7-hour podcast, we'd still run over time if you allowed me to talk about it in depth.
No,
we'll get there.
So if we had a Patreon, that's where that would go.
Yeah, I guess we should talk about this opening page a little bit. I wanted to ask you guys. So the story is called "Comes the Hangman."
Yes, he does.
There's this insane
He
full
comes
page. He
all over this.
So it's an insane like full page illustration of shirtless Philip Russell, like hooked up to some crazy ass machine. There's all this crackling energy surrounding him, and members of the committee are looking on. As this doctor is saying, observe, fellow members of the committee, Philip Russell secured head to foot to our nerve impulse charger. And as we're seeing this, there's like this drawing of the beast, of his head. And I wanted to ask you guys, does it just look literally pasted on to you?
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
yeah, in the composition, it looks like the giant Wizard of Oz head that is projected out to scare everybody. But it looks like it's just kind of cut and pasted into the upper left-hand corner of this.
It's really, really strange, but there's a lot of strange shit in this issue. I know we should just jump in. There's going to be so much.
I mean, the opening for me is like, this is par for the course comics that is not preparing you for what the rest of this comic's going to do. Because like, this is like, okay, here's some stakes. The dad's caught by the committee. He owes them some money. They've got this corporate master plan to stimulate the economy with werewolves or some shit. But it's like, that's some comic book shit.
See, but this is one of those things that brings up that interesting point, how like people from the time in editorial were just like, oh, covers sell the books. And it's almost like issues like this are front loaded with a couple cool pages right up front for like that kid that's going to kind of open up the book and see the first 2 pages and then be like, fuck yeah, I'm going to slap down my 20 cents for this. And then the rest is just kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Shame on you guys.
This comic, I would imagine, is very special for certain kinds of readers, though. We'll get to it. Like, it's bananas.
Yeah.
Oh,
I had no idea that Philip Russell was such a hottie. Because that ascot is hiding some fucking rip muscles.
And I learned a lot about Tom Sutton in this issue.
Yeah.
And I really love these dudes that are standing around here doing this torture stuff, because last issue we met the committee and they were just like some earnest businessmen who were concerned about the economy. And now like the scientist dude looks like Dr. Savannah. Then there's like the West Coast generic Kingpin, West Coast generic Lex Luthor, and then some dude with a turtleneck.
Yeah, but they've got AIM technology now.
Yeah,
and
totally.
it makes me wonder, like, wouldn't this technology help you stimulate the economy? I mean, you can build whatever the fuck's going on here for this very specific case, but you guys can't get more people to buy bananas. Like, what's going on here?
Yep.
Oh man. So on the next page, we get this weird off-brand Lex Luthor guy ranting. Did we meet him last issue? He's new, right?
No, he seems new. All these guys seem new, honestly.
Yeah, and like I was saying, like they just kind of took a really hard turn into villainy, like really fast, with like a lair with torture devices, because they were in a shitty boardroom last issue.
Yeah, they were dealing with dossiers last time, and now they're like, they've got this super machine, this Frankenstein shit. It's like, what? It's awesome. Straight up,
it is awesome, but so many tonal shifts in this from last issue. Like Wolfman just came and just fucking bulldozed whatever happened in the past and just made his own Werewolf by Night.
Yes, I love this. So they're full on torturing Philip Russell, and then they say, we're willing to forego this debt that you owe us if you give us what we want, and what we want is your son, Jack Russell. And then they give him a big dose of shocking again. He screams, "No, never!" They say, well, that was definitely unwise. We go to Jack and Lissa and Buck sitting around, and Jack is letting them know that it's time for him to move on. He appreciates Buck's hospitality, but he needs to get a place of his own. And this art here was really tripping me out. The line work on, like, Lissa looks like ElfQuest or something like that. Like a little nymph. And Jack's just kind of sketchy. Like it looked like he was just like, you're at a Comic-Con, you're like, hey, would you please draw Jack Russell for me real quick? And like, oh, yeah, kid, there you go. And then that was how it was inked. And then Buck's going, and his cigar's falling out of his mouth. He's so shocked by the news.
There's also this thing where Jack Russell and everything, the aesthetic of Jack Russell has moved from like LA leather jacket, cool kid, like denim, to Three's Company. Like it's, it is suddenly everything about him and the world he inhabits is very Brady Bunch. You know, he's in that, like, I believe salmon colored shirt, and you know, it's a polo or something if I can remember, and his hair's very helmety and bushy and beautiful. It's like completely sort of removed from the sort of the Plug version of the character, like, which is fine, but it is quite sunny. It's a very sunny look at him, you know.
Yeah, he's like the Dennis Wilson of Marvel right now. I don't know where that came from.
No, totally.
Yeah, so yeah, like you said, Jack tells Lissa and Buck that he's got to sort some shit out, and you know, Lissa's like wants him to move back home, but he refuses, saying he doesn't want to live with the man who murdered their mother, which, you know, I can totally understand. Yeah, you know, poor Buck. He says, "Writing your own script, Jack boy. I guess you know what's right for you." And then, you know, Buck, again, being the greatest guy fucking ever, drives Jack to his new digs, which is an apartment building for singles called Colden House.
Which is also the only Mesopotamian ziggurat in all of LA.
I'm glad you said that.
This has some insane LA shit going on here. There's so much we need to get. Okay, so first of all, let's can we just get to his new digs, his apartment?
Colden House.
So
go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say it's a pretty adult style pad for an 18-year-old kid. So, you know, Jack's met by this woman named Sandy who shows up. He shows Jack his apartment saying, "I think you'll take to it, Jack. Kids are a real loose group here." And she says that his new pad is like a bit straight for her, but he should put up a few posters on the wall. And yeah, so we see this so 70s, like just very what I'm assuming is 70s LA. Yeah. Swinging
bachelor pad. Like, it is huge open floor plan, just, you know, decked out. And suddenly he goes from like this tortured guy running away from his gothic family to just like trust fund LA kid.
Yeah.
In just the stroke of a page.
And a fuck palace.
Yeah. Yes. And like within 3 pages, they introduce like 4 cute girls in the apartment that are just all ogling him. And I'm like, what in the, it has become like a full on cheeky, like 70s beach movie almost, you know. It's really, I mean, it almost veers into porn with some of the setups where it's just like the girl's ogling him and he's living alone. He's like the new bachelor in the building.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And it's a furnished apartment, which is always kind of gross to me. Like, I don't know. It definitely is. It's a swinging singles apartment building, which just has herpes greasy feel to it all over it.
Keep in mind, this guy turns into a werewolf. He's not seeking isolation. He's like, you know what? It's clearly he can afford anything. He says his trust fund could do that. And it's like, so you move into the most populated building full of potential victims in trouble that you could clearly afford, I don't know, something a little bit out of town.
Yeah.
You know, a little ranch house or something. I mean, the options are endless because we do learn, this guy is a rich kid, you know.
But he doesn't have a car, so he can't be too far out. It's got to be centrally located.
He can afford a car if he could afford that pad, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and when we see, you know, the inside of his apartment, it's fucking huge.
It's massive.
But yeah, I kind of locked into, for some reason, like thinking what posters he would choose and put on the wall.
I was thinking about
Is that what you locked into? I'll tell you what I locked into. His moving night. He's like, I'm going to move in the night I turn into a werewolf.
Yeah, exactly.
Jack is the stupidest. They make him so dumb. And it's a frustrating element of the comic. I know. I get that.
Yeah.
But I mean, in the same way you can jerk off without your mom catching you, you'd think he would be a little bit more subtle about, like, maybe make move day not night 1 of 3 that I turn into a fucking murderous monster or potentially murderous monster. And then he just forgets that he does that. He just kind of
he does that a lot. That's
on
kind
top
of his
of that,
deal.
You're right. That is completely egregious. And then on top of that, he doesn't have a plan for what he's going to do when he turns until the last goddamn second. He's like,
it's like, oh, shit.
And he runs to the apparently nearby beach.
Yes.
But which before we get into the beach, which is it's where we're going to stay for a while, it's established that he just kind of moves into this pad, dicks around there, and then at night goes, oh, shit, you know what? I am going to turn into a werewolf tonight. I should probably fucking get out of here.
Yeah.
At the last possible second. And I can't help but think, like, they really need to start establishing that he himself is a little bit more afraid of turning into this werewolf if we're going to buy into those stakes. And luckily the issue gets so insane it makes up for this kind of, like, really dashed off, like, total tonal shift where I can see what Marv Wolfman might be doing, where he's like, I'm going to give you guys some supporting cast. It's going to be cute girls in the apartment. We get that that guy, the
Raymond Coker.
Yeah, the stiff.
Yeah, we meet the resident stuffed shirt, right? Mm-hmm. So there's this laced up African American dude, and he's the manager. She's leaving Jack to decorate his apartment. She runs into him, and he knocks his books over, and he's kind of like, whoa, and she says, "Oh, I'll help you pick those books up." He's like, "No, don't touch them. Leave them alone." And we see what they are, and they are Werewolf Blood and Supernatural Volume 4.
What? Yeah, he is all about it. He is already into, like everyone in Werewolf by Night, he seems to be reading Werewolf by Night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like everybody but Jack Russell seems to be reading the book. All the villains, everybody, they're just hyper aware of it.
But he seems to be the first one that wants to hide it.
Yes.
Right.
You know? Everyone else has been very open because it's 1973 and Satan is in. He's hip right now. So
this Raymond Coker guy becomes a major character for a while. So we're going to be seeing a lot of him.
I couldn't remember his name. It was like the stiff, that he's a stuffed shirt. He's really huffy puffy with that young lady.
Yes, he's a stick in the mud stuffed shirt for sure. Yeah. So we cut to an alleyway and there's a junkie and he's trying to rob this girl to score. And I'm jumping into Jacob's area here, actually. Sorry.
Yeah, it's wow. So this mugger is sweating and shaking, saying he's got to have a fix and needs bread to buy it. So yeah, this girl's like pleading to him to leave her alone, and she hears a voice that says, "Do not beg, girl. He won't come close to harming you." And then the mugger gets like a fucking scythe to the back by our vigilante antagonist for the issue called the Hangman. And I actually, Brad, I thought that the Hangman looked more like a Gil Kane character than any other character in this issue. He especially in a couple issues at the or panels at the end, he had a Gil Kane feel to me. No?
Yeah, I agree. Design and stuff. The faces still oddly don't feel Gil Kane to me, but I could be wrong. I'm not like some sort of super expert.
No, you're absolutely right. I think the faces are a little too over detailed for Kane. Like Kane is all about the simplicity of the
clean,
line.
yes, simple lines,
clean. And this is definitely Tom Sutton trying to, do something over his layouts, and God, a lot of it just does not work.
Yeah, but I also want to say that this beach bum junkie who is terrifying this girl, like you say stabbed, like he gets brutally run through with a scythe before we even see that the Hangman.
Yeah,
it's like it is such a, because again, right before this we're in swinging bachelor pad land, and then this takes this hard murderous like turn within panels where this guy is executed, and he's clearly on the Jones. Like they couldn't draw more sweat on his face than they've drawn.
So sweaty.
And he needs the money for his fix, but he gets ran through, and this weird bondage villain shows up.
You're right though. We got complete whiplash from shag carpet and rattan furniture to a junkie being murdered in an alleyway.
Murdered by a pest, like a full-on sex pest. Like it is insane.
And he's basically, he quote unquote saves this girl for now, and he just starts screaming at her basically about who he is. And, would you rather I let him kill you? No, I'll not let any survive who would bring death to the innocent. Do you hear me? Do you? And then she basically faints because there's this guy in a fucking Hangman leotard screaming at her.
She's been traumatized.
So,
she was saved by, again, creepy, disturbing, bug-eyed loon who has her at knife point and just is just threatening her for money she doesn't have, to be saved by an even more terrifying thing. Yeah. Because the design on this character, let me tell you, is crazy.
Describe him.
He's like the Gimp from Pulp Fiction.
Yep.
He's like, he's got a Hangman shroud and just a very sort of like evil leather daddy vibe to him, you know? Even though I don't think they're drawing it as leather, it just has that feel. Yeah.
He's grabbed this woman that's fainted, and he's like, she fainted just like the rest of them, but she probably would have resisted if she didn't faint. And he's carrying her off saying, well, now she's mine to protect for the rest of her life. So he's got the weird neckbeard gentleman kind of vibe going on. And we cut back to Jack. We've already covered how irresponsible this is, that he's hanging out, decorating his new pad, and he realizes, hey, I better make a plan for tonight. There's a beach nearby. I'm sure that'll be empty.
Oh, shit, I'm a werewolf.
Yeah. Oh, and so as the sun's setting, he's like, oh, shit, I didn't pay attention to the sun. He runs into two neighbors, which is like was that Conway that came up with remember when Pete lived in an apartment and there was Randy, Bambi, Candy, and Tandy, or some girls that always flirted with Peter Parker?
Yeah, it's very Peter Parker. It's very much trying to establish a supporting cast of cute potential love interest in that same model, and it's done really quickly. Like, we've got 3 within a few pages. We've got the girl who showed him to his place, and then these 2 girls are like, oh, Sandy was right, he is gorgeous. Like, they just say that to his face.
Yeah,
which is
we both want you.
Yeah,
they literally say that.
They literally say that. It's Clary and Sam who he meets, and yeah, they're both just like, Sandy wasn't putting us on, Clary. He is gorgeous. And
so then now I'm starting to hate Jack Russell, because within this issue, we've established that he just gets to live whatever pad he wants, and just girls are ogling him immediately, and that's good and fine, but then on top of that, he has seemingly no care for human life, because again, he's like offhandedly, oh yeah, I'm a werewolf tonight, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. It's like, you're the worst. Actually, it's a pretty accurate depiction of a rich kid in LA, actually. You know what? Hats off of Marv Wolfman, and he nailed it. Like,
affluenza.
Yeah. And
but she's Clary Winter, but you might know her by her stage name, Melody Toon.
Yes. Yeah.
And she's also Anal Annie, but she doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah. And I gotta say, these New York guys riding LA always cracks me up, because he just runs to the beach from his pad, which is fine, which means but the beach itself is not big enough to be like a place away from the street.
Yeah.
No.
It's not like there's it's like the houses go all the way up to the beach, and then there's some sand, there's street, there's where he's at. So it's pretty funny. It's like, oh, I'll just go to the beach. It's like, yeah, and at night, which, this is the 70s, so I don't know what the rules were back then, but I mean, I guess it could be pretty empty, but still, he is within walking distance to the beach. Again, we're only talking like 50, 60 yards of sand before you hit water, and so it's a not the most sound plan for a man trying to hide from all of humanity, I'd say.
No.
Yeah, so he's basically on the beach now. He knows the moon's coming up and the change is upon him. He luckily makes it there, and seems to be no one around at this point. And as much as I think
he doesn't want to work too hard, it's got to be walking distance. He doesn't want to go too far.
No,
he doesn't have a car, guys.
No, you're right. I keep forgetting that.
Another mistake of this title is not giving Jack Russell a freaking triumph or something. Because him zipping around LA on a motorcycle and then sometimes turning into a werewolf on a motorcycle is something I feel this comic book should have.
And this would have been a TV show if that happened.
So as much as I don't like kind of how a lot of the people are drawn in this issue, I do like how the Beast is drawn in most panels. Oh, God, I think, and especially this transformation here.
Gorgeous.
And it says second night. I mean, I guess we just weren't privy to first night. And that's cool, I guess. A little weird, but
Yeah, you're right. That is weird.
Yeah, I thought so. And so there's this amazing transformation panel, and there's another one, below it where the beast tears off its clothes. He's starting to think find forest and hide, get away from man, that horrible smell.
Forest. There is no forest you can find from the beach. And he's like literally like, the woods, I'll make it to the wood. There are no woods.
Yeah, but that's the beast's first thought, like constantly, whenever he transforms. Like there's no woods around there, obviously, but yeah, that's always his first thought. And
he eventually hightails it to the woods. He says, like, I'll make for the woods. There's no woods, Marv. We don't have that here.
But it's not just Marv's fault, though. I mean, that's every person that's written him so far has
every single time. But so I love the bottom of this page where we're introduced to these guys. Because so we basically see the beast turns and sees like a bunch of muscle-bound dudes.
Oh, okay.
They look like they just finished kicking sand into Mac's face in like a Charles Atlas ad.
Let's be clear about what they're doing.
Please tell me.
Yeah,
they are a group of 6 men on the beach under the full moon at midnight
in Speedos.
In banana hammocks doing curls, nondescript. Some of them are lounging. One guy's like bicep curling, and it's a boys club. And on the beach at night in LA in the 70s, I was a completely straight endeavor.
Well, and they call it a party. They say, "Hey, some creep trying to bust up our party."
Yeah, they're middle of the night weightlifting naked party. And I downloaded this issue, so going through it, they have the garish scans, like the colors. I think they recolor them, and it's badly done. But this is such a rush job that one of the dudes on the beach, I don't know if this is in the print version, one of the dudes on the beach, they forgot to color in his bathing suit, and he's the dude facing away. So when we first see the group of dudes, it's just like a bunch of dudes sitting around a towel. One dude's just naked as fuck, and all the other guys curling in front of him under the moonlight, and it is the funniest fucking thing. And what's even funnier is when the werewolf shows up, nobody interacts or reacts to him. They're mad that he's breaking up their boys' party, but none of them are going, "Oh fuck, dude, is that a werewolf?" No, they're just like, "Get out, dude, you are not invited." Yeah, they're more just pissy than anything else.
You know about Far-Sighted Muscle Beach?
Yeah,
is that not a thing down there anymore? Because
well, I mean, we'll get into that in a page or two, because that's one of my biggest pet peeves in this entire series are people who are fighting with the beast a foot away from him, yet can't figure out he's a werewolf. So yeah, that comes into play. After this next page.
Clearly some sort of monster if they're not able to peg him for a werewolf. And these guys are just so not concerned with that. They're just just miffed that like anybody would dare to come watch their midnight muscle party,
Yeah, so one dude tackles Jack, and we get a really nice taint shot of his banana hammock there as he's tackling him. And there's a whole inner monologue going on I'm not going to share with you here, but the beast, flings that dude back at his buddies, and then they all encircle him, and they're like, "Hey, close in slowly. He can't take us all. You hold him. I'm calling the fuzz and maybe the zookeeper." And as you guys are saying, as this circle of shirtless, naked men are enclosing, they're like literally 2 feet away from him. Completely oblivious.
They have him surrounded at one point.
Yeah. He's literally surrounded.
And he makes the comment,
they can all hold hands around him.
Yeah.
And then our werewolf, who's supposed to be a scary being, once again is thwarted by regular dude people that he cannot defeat. And it's like, I can't take on all 5 of them as the 6th man is running away. But it's the funniest image ever because it's a circle of dudes in Speedos. They're not in shorts. They're not in swim trunks. They're in banana hammocks. They're all very, very built sailors.
Yeah.
And they are closing in on poor Jack Russell. And one of them then says, "Nobody muscles in on our turf." What? Pick one. Before it was like, "Oh, this weirdo's breaking up our party." Now it's like, no. This is more about, this is our corner of the beach.
Yeah, it's a turf war now.
Yeah, now it's a turf war. And I'm thinking, are there warring factions of night weightlifters, beach night weightlifters, much like surfers? who are just like, buddy, you keep walking. This is our corner of Venice. You got to go.
Locals only. Meanwhile, we cut away to where the Hangman hangs his hood, and it is a dungeon, and there's a bunch of women who are chained and tied up and manacled. There's a lot of manacles in this series.
Yeah.
This is a bondage-y, fetishy issue. Everybody's in Speedos. Everybody's in weird things. There's lots of, and we get to meet the Hangman and learn his origin here, right? Because it's just a bunch of women in a dungeon.
Yeah, so it's a bunch of women, and he, the woman that he had recently kidnapped, wakes up, and it's just like, where am I? Who are you? Those other girls. Like, she's rightfully freaking out, and he goes off on this thing saying that she will be safe in captivity here as long as she obeys his every wish.
Yeah, one of the women that's depicted is like colored in blue to like give her the feeling like of anguish of like she's been there a while, and she just looks haggard as fuck, and it's like kind of nightmarish.
Yeah.
Like, this issue is so like, again, it goes from Three's Company vibe to like this guy's got women in for you don't know how long in a dungeon, tied up, manacled, and suffering, and he's screaming at them that they're like sinners and need to obey his every command.
No, he's rescuing them.
Yeah, he's protecting them from evil.
Yeah.
He says you can live your life out here in perfect serenity. And of course she says, you're mad, insane. You can't keep me locked away. And he's like, don't you see? I've only the best intentions toward you. The world up there is evil. People wish only to harm, perhaps even to kill you. I've dedicated my life that no innocents need ever die by the hand of the guilty. And then he goes off on his origin story.
Oh boy.
So he, as a kid, he went to the pictures every Saturday, but it wasn't like movies today. The evil ones were totally corrupt, totally evil, and they deserved their fates. So he's not a big fan of like modern cinema. He's not a big fan of Bonnie and Clyde or The Wild Bunch.
He doesn't like moral ambiguity.
No, he doesn't. He likes good old fashioned white hat versus black hat films like Granddad used to make.
Yeah. So he's talking about his heroes that he grew up on, like John Wayne, Hopalong Cassidy, Tom Mix, all these kind of guys who had a very clear. He's very Mr. A, like Ditko, right? I mean,
I really got those vibes, like just this absolutism that is, he's absolutely Mr. A.
But notice that he's only saving women.
Yes.
Quote unquote saving. And I'd like to present that Marv Wolfman has invented the modern incel.
Okay. I can go with you on that.
Because here's a guy who grew up on a bunch of media that he doesn't want to change and is now so mad that it changed, and is also fetishizes the war because, as we see, he went to war and was so violent and terrible in World War II that they court-martialed him and kicked him out, which just spun him out out of control. And now he's like makes the logical jump, of course, to start kidnapping women and putting them in a dungeon.
Yeah, so he killed a lot of Nazis really violently. And so he was court-martialed and in a stockade for 6 years. So I guess nowadays, if this was today, he would be a drone pilot for the army and killing.
And he would be a Nazi.
Civilians, and killing women and children in the Middle East with his drone.
I just like that the jump he takes from Hopalong Cassidy is kidnapping women and putting them in a dungeon dressed as a fetish monster with a scythe. Like you'd think he would be a cowboy. Like if he's going to do anything, he would be like, his costume would be like John Wayne or something. No, he's like, no, I'm doing this. I'm going to look like what would have been the bad guy in Cruising, Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, he does 6 years for his war crimes. He gets out and he's fully incel now. So he trains himself. He went underground, he says, where he trained himself to become a crime fighter and more. He created an unstoppable nemesis of all evil, the Hangman.
Yeah, so after we're introduced to the Hangman and his origin, we kind of hard cut back to the beach where our bodybuilder guys are fighting with Jack, again, strangely not realizing that he's a werewolf. Like, I know it's dark, but there's moonlight. Like, there's moonlight, and they're a foot away from him.
It's light enough for them to be lifting weights.
Lifting weights in a creepy
in the middle
circle.
Of the night.
Yeah. Like, I know it's done for dramatic effect, like so there can be the big reveal of like, holy shit, it's a werewolf.
They never really do that.
But in other issues, Jacob, like dudes have been like fighting with him in an alleyway and said like, "Oh, you hippie," and like, "Oh, okay," they grabbed his head and thought his hair was a hippie, you know. But this is not. There's no writing it away.
No, they don't even, because by this time he's already jumped one dude and been surrounded by the others. That one dude, nobody's going like, "Holy God, what the fuck is this thing?" They're just like, "Yeah, let's get this dude. Let's get this nerd. Bury him in the sand." We gotta stop though and talk about Marv Wolfman writing this and going, okay, I need to come up with an obstacle here. What do I do with the Werewolf by Night? What's Jack Russell's like big blocking point? Should he confront a mugger or be accosted in some way? And he was like, no, a group of dudes in banana slings at midnight weightlifting on the beach is the thing. He's like, this will entertain the kids.
We haven't seen it before, so it is new. It is technically new to the book. And then the other thing is like he's like, and clearly this is too big of an obstacle for Jack. They will also beat him up. Like he doesn't scare them. He doesn't accidentally overly really hurt one of them. Nope. It just kind of like, if you were to just change Jack Russell in this moment to just a drunk dude wandering through somebody's naked weightlifting party, nothing changes. It's true. No, I mean, there is the thing. So the Beast jumps on the leader, the redheaded guy, and it starts choking him out. And the guy's like, "Oh, we didn't mean anything. We were just kidding." And then he's like, "Mother Mary, you're hurting me." And so, yeah, the Beast is about to, really fuck this guy up. But then the cops show up. And so the Beast kind of turns around. He's just like, "Oh, shit, men like others with weapons come to hurt me when I don't want to hurt them." And again, he's like, "Must run, hide in the forest."
He goes to find the famous LA woods that are right next to the beach.
So I love the way he attacks that dude because like he runs at him, he jumps, and it's like that McFarlane when Spidey's like feet are above his shoulders.
Yeah.
So he's just full on jumping at him. He's grabbed his throat, thrown him to the ground. And fortunately for this dude, the cops have shown up because if they didn't, that guy'd be washing sand out of his entrails for weeks. Because once you get sand in your abdomen, you never get rid of that.
But you're right. I really think that Jack was about to eviscerate this fucker.
Oh, yes.
And the cops showing up is the only thing that saved this guy's life.
Yeah. So the cops are there, and he's also farsighted, and he's like, "Freeze! Get up. I want to see your ugly face now, mister." And the werewolf turns around and snarls at him, and he's like, "Oh, finally, somebody fucking sees the werewolf. Lord in heaven. It can't be. It can't." So then he runs up to the cop, not to hurt the cop. He's made this clear. He just wants to push the weapon away from him. As the cop fires up into the air, the Beast runs off, and he's running through L.A. to the L.A. forest.
Yeah.
So yeah. And he's been seen by someone, a small lonely speck standing amongst the tall jutting skyscrapers, watching this Beast wind and wind his way through the buildings.
Yeah, so it's the Hangman who is watching all of this. And so I kind of love the Hangman's monologue here. I mean, I don't love it. I kind of hate it. But it's which is why the Hangman must steer you correctly, why I must take the reins of justice in my hands. So he's just monologuing to no one up there. Then he's like, below me, 2 figures, a man chasing a girl, lovers quarreling? No, he's too old, in his 40s. She's merely a teen. Then what? So he's saying all this to himself, just high above, I don't know where he's at, like on some kind of fucking rooftop. And we realize that it's Lissa and Buck below him. And so Lissa's running away. Buck's trying to comfort her because she's rightly freaked out that, Jack and her stepfather have disappeared. And so Buck's there, saying, "I realize that you're upset because Jack and your stepfather's disappeared." He's saying like, "Good riddance, I say." And she's saying, "Oh, I can't take it any longer." We cut back to the Hangman, who is approving of Buck's manly ways. He's like, the male is known to her, acting as her protector. Good. Women must be protected. They're too weak to fend for themselves. You're like,
Neckbeard,
oh my God.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Just off on his own power fantasy with women in the dungeon, telling them about how corrupt and terrible everything is because he watched a bunch of movies. Like it's such a bananas origin. It's so crazy.
He's so sick of all these Chads.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Plus, he mentions that this dude is in his 40s that he's watching, so whatever, it's a little off. And I was trying to figure out, how old is the Hangman? Because he fought Nazis. So even if you enlisted in the war in 45 and just caught the end of the action at 18 years old, wouldn't he be like 45, 46 years old?
No, yeah. I kind of figured him nearing 50, basically.
Yeah,
he's around 50.
He's a 50-something-year-old man.
Look at his build. I guess he did say he trained. So
he trained in the underground.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, he sees that the beast is running towards them. He says, "Someone wearing a mask attacking the two innocents. Then I am needed here." Oh my God, this line here. "For where lurks evil, there must the Hangman be to battle," which is like it's the clunkiest.
Dances right off the tongue. What are you talking about?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's just like cellar door. It's just a beautiful example of English language.
Most beautiful.
Oh God.
So there's this weird little standoff that's called out. Like, here's where magically through my Marv Wolfman writing, these three people have collided. Lissa's here, the Beast is here, and the Hangman are all here right now.
Well, on his way to the L.A. woods, he ran back into the city.
Yes.
And then happened to run into people who left him at his apartment, which is walking distance from the beach, hours ago, and they still are just kind of tooling around a couple blocks away. It's so insane. This was done in 6 minutes.
We might need to map out Wolfman's L.A., kind of like how they did for The Shining, all the weird different places in the Stanley. We're gonna do that. That's gonna be a project for us.
So I love that the Hangman's first words to the Beast are "halt, scum." That kind of says all you need to know about this guy.
Yeah.
And so Lissa sees him and she's like, "Jack," and she freaks out. And the Beast, she's telling the Hangman, like, "Leave him alone. He's okay. He won't hurt us." And the Hangman grabs Lissa by the hair, like violently, and then throws her into Buck.
Yeah.
So he's maybe not the hero that we thought he was.
Something tells me.
No,
yeah,
he's a piece of shit. And so the next page, I do kind of love the classic feel that this page has, action sequence wise. Even though the writing, I think, has a bit of Silver Age corniness to it as well. But the layout, especially those top three panels that are kind of, the borders are like the slashes.
I was just gonna say they look like slash marks. Yeah. Yeah,
which is really, really cool. But the Hangman's just saying really corny villain shit the whole time. While the Beast is basically just dodging his blade, which seems to enrage the Hangman, and like his Ditko-esque all or nothing philosophy, he's like, "Make up your mind, animal. Which do you want, to hide or to battle?" He just wants him to choose one.
Mm-hmm. And this is a serious scythe because it seems to cut a light post down.
Yeah.
That's some serious shit.
Well, he's training underground with a scythe.
It has to cut steel and brick.
He's got great scythe skills.
Yeah, so then the Beast, we've seen him do this before. He jumps up and he does some kind of weird reverse planking under a fire escape, which I always love that. It's
super cool.
Yeah, and he avoids the swipe and then says, but still the Hangman fought on and on, never tiring, never pausing, for the Hangman had to win. He had to crush his foe, to pound the werewolf into a Raggedy Ann-like limp puppet, waiting for the final devastating blow to come. The Hangman had a point to prove. But the werewolf did not want to die, and he does this big karate kick and kicks the Hangman down.
From there, we go back to Buck and Lissa. So Buck is trying to reason with the Beast because he still has no fucking idea that Jack is a werewolf. Lissa called him Jack, but he's like, "I have to listen. Lissa, listen, I don't know who either of you are, but please, we have nothing to do with your fight." It's like, you have everything to do with this fight, Buck. It's Jack. It's Jack Russell.
Yeah, I love it because it's very clear Marv Wolfman is not keeping up on the title that was probably handed to him to be like, "Hey, we got to get one of these out." And he just kind of skims the whole thing. "I got this."
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's the thing. It's like we wanted Conway and Len Wein to have a little more communication, but there's like no communication here whatsoever. And I'm pretty sure at one point all these guys were living together.
Yeah.
Like it's not like they were on opposite sides of the country. Like they were
going to the beach, having weightlifting parties, and
sharing sheets of acid and bong rips like together. I don't think they were that worried about
Greenwich Village together. Yeah. And so, yeah, I know. So the Beast is. So I thought this was interesting. So the Beast is thinking like, okay, if I run towards Forest, evil man will follow me. He won't hurt girl, won't hurt Sist. Must run, hide in Forest. So the Beast almost puts it together, but basically has put it together that girl, or she, as he calls her, is his sister Lissa, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's kind of a big moment. Like that hasn't happened yet. Like in previous issues, the Beast knows this woman, knows this girl, knows that she's not a threat, that he wants to protect her, but has not made that leap that he's actually related to her.
Well, in addition to that higher level thinking, he's also created a multi-step plan. So his executive thinking is really developed. He's like almost a preschooler now, because he's like, if I run to the forest, Batman will chase me, girl will get away, she'll be safe. That's really complex thinking for a wolf in a human body.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And there's a billboard in the background that says "Buy Crazy Magazine." That was Marvel. That was a real humor magazine, right?
Yeah, boy, Marvel did not do well in the humor magazine front. I don't know if you've ever gone back and read like Not Brand Ek or any of those, but they're terrible.
Not since I was a kid.
No, they're terrible when you're a kid.
I didn't like them. I'm just saying I'm not.
No. Yeah. Yeah. They're just dreadful. You'd get those like polybagged, like there'd be one cool comic and then like 6 whatever. You're probably gonna get some issue of like Valiant and some old reprints and shit, and at like the swap meet or something. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah,
just like grab bag comics.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, I'd get a gem because you'd get like, you know, an issue of Dazzler, some totally out there ROM Space Knight, some just bananas thing nobody wants. But every once in a while you get one of those fucking Not Brand Ek. They always sucked. They were always a drag. Like it's like, give me a What If or something. I don't want this Not Brand Ek. They just despised them.
Yeah. But you got one Micronauts, so it
totally.
seemed okay.
That made up for it.
Yeah. the issue of Dazzler I got with like the silhouetted like actual photograph of an actress on the cover.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I remember that.
Great issue.
It's so awesome. I remember being like, this is cool. Like this is completely awesome. And then right behind it was Not Brand Ek. I'm like, God, was this really worth the $1? You know, I don't know.
What was the other thing? Marvel Age? Was that the thing they had? It was just kind of like lips and assholes of like interviews with people and like upcoming news. It was just like, I'm paying for this. This is a giant ad.
Yeah. But Irving Forbush would be on the cover, so that's worth the price of admission, right? That was
a big sale. Hey, speaking of Dazzler, I heard that you're directing a series or something. Is that true? Or developing? Yeah.
No, I wish I was.
But we're putting that out there.
Yeah, we should. I mean,
okay.
Dazzler series. Tell me more.
You need to play along with this.
I would rather go a feature, but Marvel's thinking more a series. You know, very 70s, very disco.
Yep.
Lots of lights. I think in every attempt to update Dazzler, they ruin Dazzler because Dazzler needs to exist in the time and place of when she was invented. I feel that way about a lot of characters, but I feel like I can, you know, take Diana from Bit and turn her, just kind of spin her right into a Dazzler and have a great time.
I'm hooked.
I'm hoping Marvel lets me do my Coke montage, you know, where success gets to her, and we have the success montage where she just gets coked out of her gourd, you know, shooting lasers out of every. Yeah,
I'm sure Disney would be totally down with that.
Oh, they love that stuff.
Would be a great part of the ride at Disneyland.
Yeah.
all joking aside, like the Marvel stuff I would ever want to do is all that kind of stuff, like just which they would never do anymore because they very much do a sort of thing that they're very much smart about their custodianship of these characters and their their media, and it's kind of a drag though, because there are things that like wouldn't hurt nobody to just kind of go really weird on, But they've got to spend $1 billion to make $3 billion, so they're not interested in doing like, what if you just made a $20 million Dazzler movie period piece? That'd be dope as fuck.
I'm with you, and if there's a petition, I'll sign it.
Yeah, word.
Or Kickstarter,
Yeah.
fan film. So on the next page here we get another one of those layouts where it's kind of like diagonal slashes like Wolverine's claws, and there's a noose flying out as the Beast runs off in his plan to save Lyssa, and the noose goes around his neck, and he's thinking, I was wrong. I was terribly wrong. All my instincts had failed me. All my wolfish traits had left me in the lurch, and I was captured as easily as if I were some babe lost in a woodless jungle. The woods are constant blues for him, huh?
Once again, our character of Jack Russell, who is now in werewolf form, is bested by dude guy, like just regular person guy.
Ripped grandpa.
He's a ripped grandpa though, and he has a noose. So
he did train underground. I get that.
Yeah, he trained underground. What more do we need to say?
It's just starting to occur to me though, with issue after issue, and this is my beef for pretty much the whole series, is the werewolf's never that dangerous. Like he can hardly overpower a geriatric fetish weirdo,
Yeah.
Like it's just
we get really close to him.
Turning.
No, we get really close to him hurting people, but then the cops will show up or something else will happen that keeps him from actually going full werewolf on these people. So they tell the story
to dominate.
Right point.
Like, he's about to hurt a guy, but that guy put up a better fight than you'd want. Because it's occurred to me that if you just kind of let the werewolf have his way, you might get some scratches and you might pee on your carpet, but he's not like really all that dangerous.
Well, I think it was in the letters column a couple issues ago. I wanted to ask you about this, Brad, where Roy, or whoever is pretending to be Roy answering the letters, is saying to a guy that's basically making your argument, but they're saying, well, he is a werewolf, but he's only 18, so he's not full grown, even though he looks really fucking ripped in all of these. So I get it, but that was kind of their explanation to that, which I didn't think was super satisfying. Did you?
No, I don't, because it removes the stakes of the premise. I get that he might be it's so silly. I get that he might be a teenager version of the werewolf, but if the werewolf is not like in any way really menacing,
formidable,
then we as the audience aren't really all that invested in that werewolf doing irreparable damage to Jack's life or hurting an innocent person, because it just seems like any innocent person could swat him away with a newspaper, just like get out of here, and he would go. And if they decided to fight him, they'd probably win. I mean, time after time, some dude just roll kicks him and just defeats him. Like,
right. And you would think that in a comic book aimed at tweens or whatever the kids are, that being a werewolf would be like level up, like something, a bonus thing, enhancing something, making you heroic or super powered. But it's almost a liability at this point, because he just loses logic. He's
he loses logic.
Jack with sharper nails and teeth and has no wherewithal mentally.
And
they're not making that next step that he has supernatural strength. They're not leaning on the supernatural aspect of the werewolf, which they should.
And he doesn't have any sort of like I don't need him to be able to throw a car, but he almost seems to be weaker than an 18-year-old. Because Jack Russell himself seems to be able to put up more of a fight than the werewolf, who is just consistently this scared, whipped dog with no real. Yeah. Again, he is constantly thwarted by very pedestrian threats.
Well, on this last page of this issue, he's thwarted by a rope. He's basically
just a regular rope,
regular old rope. So he has his he's being hung on like this light post or something, which is
a cool image.
It's a very cool image, and it's a great full page illustration. It's really, really great. Probably one of the best pages in the issue. The wolf has his hands in between the rope and his neck. He's got a big arg coming out. And, the Hangman is saying really stupid shit again. He's saying, scream all you wish, beast, but it will do you no good, for justice is the Hangman's noose. And that's the end of our issue. The werewolf is bested by this grandpa in a hood with a rope. And that's the cliffhanger that we're left on.
And I gotta say, it works because I need to know, like, this dungeon thing. We gotta go back there. They set that up, and this dungeon full of women. It is the weirdest issue, and how it hops from these things, from naked beach party to, like, to swinging bachelor pad to, this serial killer, this John Doe motherfucker with his, like, tortured, shackled women in the bottom of I guess it's a dungeon somewhere.
It's a basement dungeon thing.
Some part of the underground. But I mean, not to jump into final thoughts on this issue, but I mean, in thinking of other issues, I mean, this is really all over the place. It's really uneven art wise. The story is pretty stupid in a lot of places. But even comparing it with previous issues, I think this is my least favorite issue so far.
I agree.
Matt?
Wow.
Yeah, I would also say that it is in some ways the most interesting issue from looking at it from, like, a comics perspective of, like, deadlines and time. And what I believe you're seeing is, like, there's not enough time to think about what to do, so everybody's weird personality leaks are coming out. I think
that's a really good point. Like, if we knew the backstory behind this issue, the backstory is probably more interesting than the issue itself.
Yeah, it's clear that the art is rushed. I mean, that is so clear.
Yeah.
It's clear that the editorial was rushed because there's so many errors.
Yeah.
And it is also clear that there's not a lot of communication between past writers, because it's like Wolfman doesn't seem to be aware of where the story was at the time, truly, or all that really invested. He just seems to be like, okay, I'm going to come in and I'm just going to establish a bunch of stuff and then give him a villain and leave.
No, I don't think he gives a shit about the history of this title. Mm-hmm. I don't think he cares at all. I think he came in and he's just like, fuck it, I'm just going to do whatever I want. No, he probably didn't have time. Either. Yeah, that's probably it.
I think the script, because, like, they're working off a Marvel method here. So that's why I'm like, you learn a lot about Tom Sutton. Because I don't know if Marv Wolfman's writing down naked beach party boys in his plot that he hands over, but that's what Tom Sutton draws. Because they're, like, muscling on turf, hey, get out of here and stuff like that. There's nothing that indicates, because you'd have to write the dialogue afterward.
Yeah, but you got to wonder how much of that is Kane, too. Like, if Kane's doing the layouts and pencils like I think he is.
Oh, then it's one of them. I'm just saying, like, this is a very fetishy issue. It is. It's like even the way that the older Buck sort of comforts the young girl and the women chained up, and the whole thing feels like a freaking feels like a Kenneth Anger movie.
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
It feels like Scorpio Rising or some shit.
There's like a level of grossness on every part of this story.
Like, but you know what I mean? It's got the beach sailor boy sort of imagery, and then you've got the sort of like 50-year-old built man with the hood, the shroud, and the manacles, and it's like manacles in a dark room kind of thing. I'm like, this reminds me of Scorpio Rising. This whole issue is just so weird and so, like, homoerotic, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's lots of bad stuff about this issue. It is very interesting.
I wouldn't say the homoerotic stuff is bad. I think it's like the most interesting part.
That is absolutely the most interesting part, and probably the coolest part of this issue. But I mean, the story, the art, everything, the whole package is not great. There are great bits to it, but it does still make me excited for the next issue to see what the fuck is going to happen, because it's insane.
Wow. Now that you guys are talking about it, I mean, I picked up on this, but I didn't really mull it over as much as until now. But it's a trip now that you're talking about this and the homoeroticism, and the villain is the antithesis of that. I mean, he's, like we're saying, the incel neckbeard gentleman. He's whatever, dude. He is like the antithetical version of that.
Kind of, but he really, because, like, I don't know, he definitely, but he still carries the sort of fetishy sort of he's like the overt fetish element.
Right. But I mean, his chauvinism and his whatever, his misogyny is like the old dead male. And this is like the new male or whatever. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Which is interesting because he still has that element of like leather daddy, but also soldier boy.
Yep.
Like he's got all the like, you could still say he's got sort of like a Kenneth Anger. Like that's a villain Kenneth Anger would come up with. A kid raised on movies who then goes to war and kills a bunch of Nazis and then comes back and puts women in dungeons. Like that is so wild.
Yeah.
But it's weird. Insane. It's almost creepier because I feel like he's putting women in dungeons and he's saving them because they can't save themselves. But I almost feel like there's nothing sexual about what he's doing with the women. It's much more power and creepiness in almost a non-sexual way.
I mean, all these comics are sort of non-sexual in a weird way, but like there's something sexual about like the art and the way the women are chained up. It is very fetishy. It's very bizarre. Like, yeah, he himself, the character, is sort of like chaste, like in a weird way. Like he's like some sort of zealot. Like he's like, he's not sitting there going like, and you will be my servants, but he is in a weird way being like, but you are under my control in a different way, which is still some sort of like weird power control domination thing. It's a weird thing to do with a comic for 12-year-old kids.
Yeah, and it's a weird, almost like critique of American machismo and like Puritanism.
Yes, absolutely. I think the thing is, I really think this character could be a much better villain if they made a little bit better of a logic leap, where they were able to tie up. The steps are too weird. The movies going to the war, I get. The movie, the like black and white, good and evil, I'm going to go kill Nazis, but he enjoys it too much. He enjoys being able to inflict that and then being court-martialed for it and being like, no, society's wrong. I'm going to rid it of evil. But the jump from that to caging women makes no sense.
If there was one scene in his early days with his mommy, some fucked up mommy scene in his childhood, that would totally justify the
Or if he was some weird version of Batman where his mom was like held up by some junkie and accidentally shot or something like that, you know?
Okay. That would even be
or
less
anything like
bizarre.
that. Because it's like in the movies, the good guys win. And in real life, the bad guys took my mother away, you know, and now I'm going to keep all women safe. But in this, he's just like the leap from those two things is so bananas. It's so crazy. And,
but Brad, I almost think like what you had said earlier, that there's such a rush on this issue that all these creators are kind of like their id is coming to the fore.
Yeah, totally.
You're just totally seeing what their fucked up shit is in the back recesses of their brain. They're just kind of vomiting it out because they have like 36 hours to get this shit tight and done and ready to go to the printer.
Yeah, and clearly what Marv Wolfman or Sutton or Kane, one of them wanted to see was what you get. And it's all the decisions are so peaked and bizarre and full of these like incongruent elements, you know, and all of those elements are very fetishy, very weird. Like there's not one scene that if you could add a panel that turns into like a pornographic comic, you would be like shocked. No, there's not one where you'd be like, it's weird. And this shouldn't go here. You'd be like, yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Jacob, you asked what I thought of it, or, you know, what my least favorite issue so far of the run has been. I'm not sure what it is, but it's definitely not this one because of all the stuff we just talked about, because it's so unhinged and it doesn't work and it's broken and you can see stitch work all over it. Like it just, I actually find it endearing in that way because of all the scars and tape and string. So like, I mean, Wolfman's clearly setting the stage. He's like, I'm done with this and I want to have Three's Company, Regal Beagle, Jack Russell, like that whole thing, and all of this weird id shit going on. So I think it's really appealing, and it is one of the first of like the super bananas issues. Like this series gets fucking weird here and there throughout.
Yeah.
And this is one of the first glimpses into like the just like berserkness, and so I like it because of that. But the art, like you were saying, is there's a panel that's fucking gorgeous, and there's one that's just super rushed and shitty. I mean. And the writing is very spotty, but the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, I guess, to me.
Yeah, I agree with that element. I guess what I mean by this is my least favorite issue is because I think it's my least favorite in how it handles the actual character of Jack.
Yeah, it's a poor transition.
He just kind of Red
writers.
Rovers around this story that doesn't even need him to happen until, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
Yeah, well, we just had 2 issues of Jerry Conway and Tom Sutton like on fucking fire. Like the last 2 issues were just perfect in the way that they were. I mean, just the way that they were executed was so well done. And to have experience that and then go right into this like jumbled mess of crazy shit. Like, I think that's what made me a little more biased against this issue is that we were on such a high the last 2 issues with Conway and Sutton.
Totally fair. If I had to pick my least favorite one so far, it's probably still the second of the Carnival of Fear story.
Yeah, that's pretty boring.
I just feel like that first issue set up a bunch of stuff and introduced all these characters, and it just really flattened out and just kind of like a balloon go around the room.
Yeah.
Deflating. So that's still probably my least favorite. But this one, yeah, it's a bit of a mess. And like you're saying, like they even devolved to like the characters don't know it's a monster and they're like fighting him within arm's reach. Bunch of just kind of like, I agree, Wolfman just kind of stepped in and didn't do his homework and didn't really seem to care that much to read the previous
I don't
issues.
see him as a guy who doesn't care. I see him as a guy who just has too much going on.
Yeah, I agree. I'm sorry. I'm benefit of the doubt. I think he had too much going on and too little time to do this the way he wanted to.
Matt, tell me we have some wear mail.
We do have wear mail.
Oh, thank God.
I didn't know what flavor you wanted. Do you want over the moon, or do you want someone telling them what they're doing wrong?
Brad, you should choose as the guest.
Is the title of it called Over the Moon?
No.
Well,
one is gushing praise, and 2 of them are good but letters.
Let's go with the criticism. I think that's interesting to see what was on people's minds at the time. I
agree. I'll do this one because we were talking earlier about bi-monthly to monthly. Hello to Stan, Mike, and Lynn. I was afraid of that. I felt something was going to happen when Fangs went monthly. The first monthly issue was really interesting, but the next ... and it makes me wonder. As I turned the cover and saw Len Wein, writer, and Mike Plug and Jim Mooney, artist, well, put it this way. The day Mike Plug needs help on a mag, that could only mean 2 things. 1, that he is getting behind with 2 mags to draw, Werewolf and Frankenstein, and 2, it means the art will be less than it should be. But I did like the story. I like the part of Big Elmo and the way he calmly helped Jack the werewolf. I like Len Wein's writing. Please keep him. And if there is any chance, please put Werewolf by Night back to bi-monthly before it really loses its value. Dennis DeWinter, Grand Rapids, Michigan. And the reply, Len Wein has had to move on to such mags as Marvel Team Up and Power Man, Dennis. And Mike Plug is now lending his talents to the Frankenstein Monster and Cole the Destroyer. But their duties on Werewolf by Night have been most capably filled by, respectively, our resident weirdo and master of monsters, Marv Wolfman, and our triple threat penciler, inker, letterer, Tom Sutton. So have no fear about Werewolf's monthly schedule, Dennis. Just give Marv and Tom a little time to show you what they can do. And we predict you'll be asking us to publish the mag twice a month. Does that suggest that Sutton was the planned permanent artist?
God, that sounds like it. And he did not. He never... Well, I guess he drew the Monsters Unleashed few illustrations, you said, right? But yeah, he's gone. He doesn't come back to the book. So that's weird.
Yeah, I think Monsters? Maybe this is I think Gil Kane having to step in might be a reason for that. Like maybe he wasn't able to meet deadlines. And so they're like, Gil, whip this out. Can you just do us a favor? This is all mean speculation.
Yeah, no. Where did Sutton go after this?
Did he kind of focus more on? I don't think he did a ton of Marvel stuff. I think he did more like Skywald and other black and white horror mags at this point.
I feel like he picked up issues here and there like this around this time for titles, but never really did any kind of assignments like permanent or even short term assignments like more than 2 or 3 things. I feel like he was a spot. I feel like he was a guest artist to fill.
Yeah.
For Marvel.
And I agree with that guy pointing out that it should be bi-monthly because it's very clear the switchover has just created this wild inconsistency in this title where they just can't catch up. you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And people would argue that, I don't know. I don't want to forecast in the future or anything too much, but I feel like a lot of people feel that the Dracula crossover was kind of the peak of the series, and there was nowhere to go but down, essentially. Even though sales didn't suggest that because there was giant size and, you know, other things going on. But
when did he cross over with Dracula? Which?
That would be
Tomb of Dracula 17?
Tomb of Dracula 18 and Werewolf by Night 15.
Yeah. I would say up until the most interesting thing this comic book does after, which is, I believe, the issue you should have the creator of this character on if you can, is introduce Moon Knight. Right? Moon Knight appears first in am I crazy, or he appears first in Werewolf by Night?
Number 32, yeah.
Yeah, number 32, yeah. And like that is like the last peak of the whole thing, you know?
Well, it's what most people know Werewolf by Night from. Is
yes,
Moon
fair enough.
Knight's
Yeah.
first appearance, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I sort of think that Moon Knight is perfected in those issues and never quite gets back to that spooky, weird thing again. It's the, you know, but I love that issue. I have that issue somewhere laying around.
What are your thoughts on Moon Knight as a character from issue 32 of Werewolf by Night to today?
So Jacob, to me.
Asking you, Brad.
I love him. I like the spooky white costume, like glowing white fog of the character. I don't like the Batman elements of the character. I really don't like the schizophrenic or personality disassociation elements of the character. Like, to me, it's like there's a real simple version of Moon Knight, which is he is the Batman who fights supernatural characters. He's like somewhere between Batman and Doctor Strange, which is sort of his like initial appearance. And then from there, he just continues to get muddy. Like somebody will take him over and be like, no, he's just like a two-gun vigilante. And then somebody will be like, no, let's go back to the sort of like, I don't know, it's like Mesopotamian and Egyptian mythology elements.
Egyptian god of...
Yeah, Khonshu. It is.
Khonshu, yeah.
They'll like, it's like and then it'll be like, no, he'll be like kind of like the Shadow and have like 9 different alter egos that he uses and things like that. It's just, no, just make him dude who fights like monsters. Like it was so cool when he first kind of comes out, and that costume design is so bitchin', you know? I mean, I like the Sienkiewicz art when he takes over the title. It looks good, and the characters like visually very. You could just look at those comics, but I just never think they get a good hand. Like from where he starts to even to today, I don't think they ever truly get a long running good handle on the character.
Yeah, I mean,
I've tried the title a million times. Charlie Houston, Warren Ellis, you know, and I just always feel like, just how can we bring him back to core principle? I think he's perfected when he first shows up. Like,
did you read that one from like 5 years ago? That was kind of psychedelic, and he had like a suit, like a full like 3-piece suit on, and like a cane, and like a mask, like a wrestler's mask.
And I think you're talking about the Lemire
Cullen Bunn.
Smallwood. Oh yeah, Cullen Bunn
and Declan Shelby or something.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty good run. I mean, I've followed most of his modern runs, and they're all okay. Like the Ellis run is pretty cool. Jeff Lemire's run is pretty cool.
I did not like the Ellis run. He's too many buckles, too many guns, not enough of the. I want him emerging from glowing smoke, like these Moon Knight. You know, I want him to be like glowing white, like not. You know, I love that sort of initial take on the character. You know,
I like any take on him that is true to the initial idea of him being anything related to the Shadow. Like, I don't like the multiple personalities thing. I've never got into that at all. But just, you know, people say he's Marvel's Batman knockoff. I think that's really lazy. No. I think that he's not Marvel's Batman knockoff. He's a knockoff of the Shadow, and Batman's a Shadow knockoff, if you really want to get into it.
Yeah, like, I don't even, I like, from his costume and everything, he just strikes me as sort of like I just like the idea of what if a superhero fought creatures of the night as opposed to crime organizations. You know,
I like this, and I think you should be writing it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but that's how he appears. That's his first appearance, is like he's there to deal with the werewolf, right? You know, and then from
He's
there,
a solution.
from there they take the character into more traditional vigilante, Batman-y type areas, and it's just like, less interested.
Yeah.
But I could always look at one of those comics. It's such a, he's just like many Marvel characters, like many comic book characters. There's visual elements about him that are more appealing than maybe any of the actual writing of him, in my opinion.
Especially when Sienkiewicz is
hell yeah
involved.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so that was issue number 11. Anything else about that issue before we move to modern times?
No, I wished I would have gotten an issue when you said this and I looked it up. Oh, it's Gil Kane. I was like, fuck yeah. I love to see Gil Kane's take on this. And you do on the cover. And I think that transformation has a little bit of love to it. There's that panel transformation where it's also like the 3 shots. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I could hang that on my wall. It's so cool. Yeah. You know, just like, it's such a nice little piece of pop art there.
Yep.
And instead I got this weird comic book that, to its credit, you cannot second guess what it's going to do on any page, you know?
Yep. I like to stay on my toes.
Yeah.
So there's another werewolf, and he is among us now in 2020. And his name is Jake Gomez. That's his name, right?
Yep.
And so we're kind of in the midst of a new Werewolf by Night, a new take on the character, actually a new character entirely. And issue 2 came out this week.
Yeah. Yeah, it came out this week. And yeah, going back to our interview with Ben and Taboo, I think it's delivering on what they had promised, which is some real like big monster fights. You know, they were saying it was more of kind of like a WWE kind of just, you know, crazy monster fight shit, and we definitely got that this issue.
Oh, big time. I feel like this issue, when we talked about the first issue, we were talking about how much we liked them establishing the character and that the supporting cast and the relationships with the main character felt fleshed out and lived in a little bit before they're trotted out to us and introduced to us. So I thought that was a strength of it. And I feel like this issue is more kind of pivoting to like, so who is the Beast physically? Like, what can he do as a hero or whatever? And so this definitely has the knockdown, drag out physicality and big kaiju kind of action going on in it that we were promised.
Yeah, when I checked it out, I could suss out that this, first of all, the artwork's like really clear, and it is very much a groovy, ghouly monster fight.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it definitely feels geared toward a younger audience, which I think is a good thing, for the love of Pete. I hope a younger audience reads it. But it's just nuts and bolts, like comic book and action adventure comic book, and it's got, you know, a type of lead you don't see a lot of, you know. So, you know, I enjoyed it, and I know I would really enjoy it had I found it at the same time I mentioned to you Midnight Suns when I was a kid, you know, the Midnight Suns arc and stuff like that. Like, it's just, oh, cool, monsters and they're fighting. Like, this is dope. And it was like a breezy good time. And like, I just hope it is this intended to be a mini series?
It's 4 issues. 4
issues, right on. Yeah, so, you know, issue 2, they're not skimping on the werewolf action at all. It is wall to wall ass kicking. You know, it's
but also halfway through the issue, there's this gorgeous 2-page spread that kind of shows this. It's really amazing. Like, I really just kept looking at it, and the more I looked at it, the more Plug references I saw in it. Like, Scott Eaton has really kind of done his homework on a lot of the ways. Even I just saw it as a real kind of love letter to the history of Werewolf by Night, and I really liked that. I really liked how the page, you know, one page is you know, Jake's dad and different monsters, different werewolves fighting in history. The other page is more modern Jake with his take on the wolf, and it's just, yeah, it's really gorgeous. Like there's a lot in those 2 pages to take in.
Yeah, that spread also, I love that it was fully symmetrical. So the left side you're saying is like kind of the werewolf as evil or monstrous form, and the right side is werewolf as hero. And each person has a counterpart on both sides. So there's like conquistadors in the bottom left, and then there's and on the right hand side middle of that page there's Very Plug, Werewolf by Night issue 1, Jack Russell werewolf facing off against another werewolf opposite him, who is I think I know who that is, but I won't say it now.
Yeah, I also like that this werewolf, unlike Jack, seems to be able to not be thwarted by a rolled up newspaper, the aforementioned.
No, it takes a couple, augmented monster people to kind of hand his ass to him, which makes a little more sense, him being a werewolf and all.
Yeah, and it being a adventure superhero comic, you kind of want this thing to not always be skittishly running away.
But there's also, on the other hand of that, he does make a point of saying, like, this is the first time I've done this. Like, I've went out and fucked with Minutemen and redneck militia dudes, and I've just kind of skirted around the edges and howled and bolted through their camp and scared the shit out of them. This is the first time I've been like brawling with something not human. Yeah. And so at one point he gets punched by one of those 3 things, and he slides through like the rain, this torrential rainfall back, and he's kind of taken aback by it. So I mean, he is new to it, but he definitely fares his own, and or holds his own there.
Yeah, he also says that this is the first time he's really been injured too. Yeah. Like, he's fucked up. Like, he got super injured in this battle, and so he's trying to navigating what to do about that. Like, I liked where it went, and I still really like the character of Red Wolf in the background as kind of like what Ben and Tab were saying, that he's like the Tommy Lee Jones character in The Fugitive is how they described him, which I thought was great. And I love him in the background, kind of sussing everything out after it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the WWE reference. I hate calling it the WWE. WWF, god damn it. It's my real I like that reference though. It very much has that feel, and I think that's a good thing. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So, I mean, very different vibe and approach from the first issue, but I think it was kind of a cool obverse of the coin. The first one felt it was more character oriented and establishing the res and this person and what he's using his talent for. And this one was more about showing what that means. So, yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah. And the next one comes out, I think, on the 30th of December. So, yeah, we'll be reviewing that on our show right after that.
Right on. Is there any kind of multimedia stuff you can share?
Have you watched Ginger Snaps yet?
No, but I watched a werewolf movie last night.
Tell us.
Do you know who Earl Owensby is?
Not ringing a bell.
He's a Southern dude who was an independent filmmaker. He built his own studio. I don't know if he's from Georgia or Tennessee, but he built his own studio and cranked out these kind of drive-in things, just made for market kind of things. It was very successful. He had a prison movie called Seabo, Seabo, that was ultra violent. I think it maybe even had an X at the time, and was a hit. And he did some 3D stuff in that early 80s 3D craze. But this was from 1979. He produced it and starred in it, and it's called, originally enough, Wolfman. And you can see it on Prime. And I think it's on like YouTube or something. But it's set in 1910 Georgia. So it's this gothic quasi-Hammer. It's got all the trappings of a Hammer werewolf story set in England in the 1700s, but it's Georgia. And this dude's it's about a guy returning home after his father dies, and the basic premise is that his cousins know there's a curse of werewolf lycanthropy on the family, and they don't want it. So they team up with a satanic priest, and they murder the father, and the son comes home, and they want to transfer the curse onto him. And so it's kind of about the falling out of that. And the first werewolf transformation doesn't occur until about 57 minutes in.
I was just going to guess. Yeah. These movies that you find yourself into, Matt.
Yeah.
They're going to be the movie that is the poster for 2.5 minutes at the end maybe, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't have the patience for them.
Yeah,
You know?
I would say if you're interested at all, I would not recommend it. But if you're interested at all, watch the first 15 minutes, fast forward to 57 minutes. There's 2 transformations almost back to back. 57 minutes, like an hour and 5 minutes in. Nothing really inventive here. However, Brad, you might want to see the movie he made right after this called Living Legend, which is with one of Elvis's ex-girlfriends. And he's very clearly an Elvis analog, this pill-popping pop star who's in the decline. And
does the director play him again?
It is the same dude, yeah.
Amazing.
So it's Living Legend. You can see
I
it
love
on
these schlockmeisters who are just like, you know what? I'm also the star.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
So it's very clearly an Elvis story, and you can see it on YouTube or Prime, and it looks amazing. I've not watched it yet, but I'm fascinated with this guy's career because he's just kind of one of those guys that's like not super talented, but he's got the moxie and the will to make movies and somehow figure out how to make money out of them.
You know what? And that is anybody who gets it together to finish anything like that is, that's very valid in some weird way.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I totally agree.
I forgot to ask you my thing. Okay, so in keeping with last time I was here, we now have to cast the Hangman, but he has to be somebody who was acting at that time.
Oh, that's right. Period specific casting.
Is it weird that Jim Backus just came into my mind immediately?
He's bald.
Yeah. I don't care. I'm sticking with it.
Not Telly Savalas?
No. Nope.
Telly Savalas would make it too creepy. It would be Telly Savalas.
He'd be too into it.
I mean, it would be a real-time documentary about Telly Savalas,
Okay, then get today's trainers on Donald Pleasance. Boom.
Oh, Donald Pleasance wouldn't be bad at the time in 70. What we're talking 72,
73.
I think. Okay, hear me out, because I got one because it's fantasy casting, and I think a guy who does good because you want this built 50-year-old, right?
Yes.
Somebody who looks like they would have been in World War II. Somebody who can do bombastic, and I'm going to go with Burt Lancaster.
That's solid.
Wow.
Yeah,
I can see that.
You're good at this.
Barrel-chested Burt Lancaster in a hood, shirtless, yelling at women. It would. I was either going to say him or Kirk Douglas, but I'm going to go with Lancaster because Lancaster is very showy,
Yeah, and he's got just kind of a beefier build. I think it fits Hangman more.
Yeah, and I think the moment you do, he becomes oppressively scary if it's Kirk Douglas, and oppressively. I mean, he becomes the most terrifying entity of all time if it's Telly Savalas. Telly Savalas, it rules so hard. First of all, that guy is incredible. You've seen his hot tub videos where he's just sitting in a hot tub with women, just talking about nonsense. You got to watch him. They're on YouTube. He is incredible. Telly Savalas was just on his own level, man. He's like the original Vin Diesel,
Yeah.
I
was thinking more like Horror Express, Telly Savalas. You ever seen that movie?
Yeah. I love that guy. Just what a legendary weirdo. But yeah, so I'm gonna go with Burt Lancaster. Any other new characters we got to cast? I'm not gonna waste time with all the. Oh, did we? Oh, I don't think we did last time.
I don't think we did.
Because I know we got.
I don't think Buck was in that issue that you were on that episode.
Yeah. See, I almost see Elliot Gould being a decent Buck for some reason.
See, I see Chuck Connors, 1973 Chuck Connors.
Yeah, I can see that.
This guy's got his shirt's unbuttoned. He's got a hairy chest. He likes a Rob Roy.
Gould is way too cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Buck is a pretty cool guy.
No, he's cool and he's nice.
Older, but
there's a detached irony to Elliot Gould that you just can't get away from. You put a camera on that guy and he's almost in on it immediately. No,
I know what you're saying, but yeah, I don't know. My read of Buck is that we haven't seen Buck be particularly smart yet. We know he's a good writer and he's a nice guy and a good friend. But
I think I see the Chuck Connors. I think that's a good call.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think Elliot Gould fits in Marvel, but you can't have Elliot Gould play the side. He's got to be.
Yeah.
I just want to know what fucking comic book character Elliot Gould should have played in 1973.
But I think if you take the spotlight off of Gould and make him play a secondary character, that he would do it a little less bombastic in a way,
he's a great actor,
and make Buck a lot more endearing. Like he kind of like he should.
More of a
he
MASH.
Could play anything. I'm just saying, like when you got, well, that's what I mean in MASH and everything. That guy just has a detached irony, like he just does. Yeah. There's just something about him that's just like, no matter, he could play a guy who literally cares about everything, and he's still going to come across as, I don't care that much, though. He's.
I love the guy. Yeah.
I love Elliot Gould, and he could play anything. You're absolutely right, Jacob. He's the fucking man. He's Elliot Gould.
Tony Stark. I don't know.
He would crush Tony Stark. Just 70s swaggering Jewish Tony Stark. I would watch the shit out of that. I would watch the shit out of that.
Oh,
this is pre-Demon in a Bottle, so so he's just pounding whiskey. Oh, that would be amazing. Actually, that's a good call. I like that. I mean, my Tony Stark circa this era would be Warren Beatty.
That's perfect.
We're gonna extend that metaphor out into its insanity. They already cast the greatest Hulk of all time with Bixby and Ferrigno coming up in a few years. So I wouldn't see a need to change that at all.
Yeah. I
guess you can go Hoffman, whatever. Anyway, so we got Chuck Connors.
That's mine.
As that. Well, I'm just gonna put it in my head canon there.
I think that sounds good to me.
Michael Parks is what's his face? Jack Russell.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sold.
We're gonna bang this thing out.
Yep.
And by the time we're done, there's gonna be a time machine. So, Jacob, do you have any media thing you want to share with me?
No, just kind of. I'm waiting for you to see Ginger Snaps so we can talk about it.
Come on, man.
I know. The problem is my daughter's 13, and so the last thing she wants to do is sit in the same room with me for 90 minutes. So,
no. I don't want to hear this, because you found time for the movie's title I already forgot you just mentioned 5 minutes ago.
You forgot Wolfman? How do you
Wolfman? There you
Wolfman?
Go. That's what I'm saying. It's like you can't use that excuse if you're managing to pack in Wolfman. You can watch freaking Ginger Snaps.
You may just have to not watch it with Athena. You may have to watch it solo.
That's my point, was that I wanted to watch it. My wife wants to watch it, and
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay, now I understand. That's right. You're a family man.
Yes, and my daughter watched Bit with me and totally dug it.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Smart kid.
Yeah, she's super smart. Okay, Jacob, I'm sorry I failed you. I promise next week I will have watched Ginger Snaps.
We'll see.
I better be hearing next week, or the week following when the episode comes out. I better be hearing your thoughts on it. I want to be listening to the episode.
I will.
And hearing your thoughts. It's a good movie, man.
This is a Matt Howell promise, so this is good as gold.
Yeah.
Take that to the bank. Well, anything else?
I got nothing. I think we covered all the bases.
Good for me.
So, Brad, it is always an absolute delight to have you on the show and talk with us about comics. I love having you on.
I would do this show till the end of time. It is the coolest thing ever.
Okay, well, till we meet again neath the full moon, furry ones, here's howling at you.
Werewolf.